In honor of Quebec's national holiday, today on the show, we're going to bring you stories about the communities and the people who shape the fabric and the culture of this province. We're going to start with the politicians. The final Legislative Assembly ahead of the general election wrapped this month. Here's Cathy Sine with how things ended and how things are shaping up heading into the vote.
On the last day of the legislative session, there were touching moments like this one.
Je veux remercier Manon et Gabriel pour tout ce que vous avez fait.
Former QS co-spokespersons Manon Massé and Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois are among the MNAs that will leave politics, as they are not running again in the next provincial election. But then came this attack from the Parti Québécois leader against the Quebec Liberal Party, as Quebec's anti-corruption unit investigates the Liberals' financing practices in the leadership race won by Pablo Rodriguez. Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon wondered out loud if organized crime could be involved.
And so where does the money come from when you're capable of telling someone, if you contribute to my campaign, you get your money back right away and I will remember you later on? Where is the money coming from? I mean, it's not clean money, obviously.
The PQ leader says this is a fundamental ethics question that should be answered before the general election. Quebec Liberal Party leader Charles Milliard was quick to react. He says the PQ leader's statement is unworthy of a person who wishes to become Quebec's next premier, and that some words come dangerously close to defamation. This comes as the legislative session ends and the tone of the summer campaign is set.
I don't understand how he can say that, how he can pretend that the PLQ is linked to criminal organizations.
Premier Christine Fréchette not only wants to distance herself from her main opponents, but also from the Legault legacy within her party.
On peut avoir des résultats sans drama.
That's how she wants Quebecers to understand that her approach is different from her predecessors.
Under my leadership, I think that negotiation and discussion, collaboration will always have a say. This is what I applied when I discussed with the federal government. We didn't only say, okay, this is not an option for us to discuss with you, because it is our jurisdiction.
Before hitting the campaign trail, the leaders of the main political parties know their weaknesses. The CAQ's Christine Fréchette will need to demonstrate again and again that she isn't simply a new face, but a new force within the party heading in a new direction. Meanwhile, the PQ's Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon says he is aware that his spontaneity may lead to comments that can be risky for his leadership and his party. Liberal leader Charles Milliard understands he is still unknown to several Quebecers and has to make an impression. As for Ruba Gazal of Quebec Solidaire, she knows she'll need to work hard to sway as many undecided voters as possible in a race that's already tightening up. Cathy Sine, CBC News, Quebec City.
Canada's 31st Governor-General is a Quebecer. Louise Arbour was installed in the role earlier this month, and she steps into the role at a fragile moment for national unity, with both Alberta and Quebec threatening referendums. Here's Gloria Enriquez with more on who she is and her connection to the province.
Your star is waiting for you right over there.
Governor-General designate Louise Arbour might be, well, famous. She even has her own star on Canada's Walk of Fame. But those who know her in her hometown of Montreal say she is always available to those in need.
For 12 years, she always said yes. She never said no.
As the founder of a small mobile legal clinic for the unhoused, Donald Tremblay says he took a shot by asking Arbour to volunteer. And to his surprise, she said yes.
It's really extraordinary. So really, to me, it goes to the essential of who she is as a person.
Arbour would talk to interns about the importance of helping others and exemplify that advice by visiting homeless shelters and taking the time to listen and comfort those down on their luck.
I don't think she'll change. She'll always have a special place for people who are outside the norms of society, who are vulnerable.
Many have learned from Arbour as a person and as a jurist, including law professor Pascal Fournier. Arbour was her mentor.
This is someone who has been incredibly fearless in everything that she's done. She's a model of engaged leadership.
She says Arbour isn't afraid to stand up for what's right, even if it's not popular. Former Montreal Mayor Denis Coderre worked with Arbour. He says her appointment is a good move by Carney.
Finally, bilingualism is not the francophone who speak English only. It's a celebration of what Canada is all about.
At her alma mater, the Université de Montréal, there's a buzz on campus about Arbour's appointment.
The idea of seizing opportunities to make a difference, which is an absolute characteristic of Louise Arbour's life, is certainly very inspiring to me, and I know that it will be for students in our law faculty.
Jutras says he believes as a Governor General, Arbour will be able to make a difference for Canadians and the world. Gloria Enriquez, CBC News, Montreal.
The Saint-Jean holiday is often a time of year Quebecers like to take a vacation. But as Natalia Weichsel found out, for many in this province, vacation budgets aren't keeping up with inflation.
So for Quebecers, you know, taking a moment off during summer, that's sacred. For the first time in many years, we've seen the budget of Quebec vacationers actually just being the same as last year.
Since 2021, Quebecers' vacation budgets have been steadily increasing, starting at about $1,300 in 2021 and climbing to around $2,100 in 2025. And it stayed that way this year. This socioeconomic researcher says the overall cost of living has driven people to tighten their belts.
When you talk about cost of gas, cost of housing, cost of food, it's going higher much quicker. So people feel really stressed in their budget. So they need to do some decisions where you can cut.
On top of inflation, more than half of Quebecers say the price at the pump is affecting their summer plans. But Couturier says that taking time off is still a must.
Vacation is something that is important. It's experience. It helps to reduce anxiety. It helps to boost productivity. So there's a lot of good things of taking a long vacation. To have a good vacation, you don't need to be far.
There are also alternative ways to travel, like by bus or train. Bottom line, with the added stress of rising costs, Quebecers can get creative to get their much-needed time out. Natalia Weichsel, CBC News, Montreal.
If you are planning to splurge on a high-end dining experience to mark the holiday, there are more options than ever before in Quebec. Here's Melissa Francois on which local spots have been added to the exclusive Michelin star list.
The second Michelin guide for Quebec is out. 4 new restaurants have been awarded with a prestigious star, among them Hougane et Beaufort in the Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie borough.
It's hard to believe what's happening right now. It feels like a crazy moment of recognition coming for people who work hard. Most of our ingredients are cooked on fire, so you'll find elements in a cocktail like a charred lemon that will be used in a cocktail. We'll char a pear and use it for dessert.
The others are Sushi Nishinokaze in Montreal, Le Clan in Quebec City, and Auberge Saint-Mathieu in the Mauricie region. The Michelin Guide awards restaurants for their exceptional quality, consistency, and creativity. Undercover inspectors conduct multiple visits. Restaurants can earn up to 3 stars, considered the highest honor any restaurant can achieve.
What it means is that the full province of Quebec is now a foodie destination. Not just Montreal, not just Quebec City. The whole province of Quebec is worth your attention, is worth you taking the time to travel everywhere in the province. In every single locations of the province, there is a good restaurant.
This year's list also includes 3 new green-starred restaurants, which highlight sustainable gastronomy. The first Michelin Guide for the province was released last year. All of the spots that earned stars in 2025 held on to them, including La Tanière, which is the only restaurant in Quebec that has 2 Michelin stars.
When you are in a Michelin star restaurant, you live the ultimate experience of people who care about telling you a story, making you feel emotions, and getting out of there at the end saying, wow, I mean, I lived something truly amazing.
A total of 121 restaurants have been mentioned in this year's guide. That's 21 more compared to last year, marking a significant year for restaurants in the province. Melissa Francois, CBC News, Montreal.
Meanwhile, if you're looking for a more economical option but want to keep it local, A Lebanese chain restaurant that got its start in Montreal is celebrating 40 years of serving up shawarmas. Paula Diane Perez gives us a behind-the-scenes look into the iconic Quebec restaurant, Bustan.
Yes. Through the decades, this Lebanese restaurant became a fixture in Montreal's fast food scene. It's now marking a milestone.
Growing up on Crescent Street, being a part of the landscape, seeing how much it's changed over the years, but definitely working alongside my father is probably my best memory.
Once a small family business, Bustan is now celebrating its 40th anniversary with locations across Canada and the US. Founder Imad Smeidi, an engineer by trade, arrived to Quebec from Lebanon in 1976. He worked in the industry for years until his employer announced he was relocating to another country.
They wanted to relocate my father, but he's like, no, I came to Canada to give my family a better life. So we ended up staying here, and that's when the Bustan adventure continued.
Bustan has changed owners over the years after Smeidi retired in 2012. He spoke with CBC then, proud of his legacy.
You take a hockey player, sometimes they play to the last minute and they lose, but some of them they leave at the top, and you still remember him as the greatest.
Smeidi wasn't the only player around. Athletes, actors, politicians, and the Grey Cup all made it a point to visit the Lebanese fast food restaurant, stopping by for a shawarma, falafel, and other staple dishes.
It's a nostalgic place. It was part of the nostalgia in Montreal. A lot of people came here because they came down. This was, you know what, if I may share, like Schwartz. Schwartz is known about Montreal. And Bustan Crescent was almost not the same, but a second to Schwartz for a lot of people.
The president of the company says while it's always been important to respect its roots, it would always be adaptable. Saad says moving forward, Bustan plans to introduce new items at lower prices.
We were able to navigate this to be able to offer something better for the customer and be able to attract the clientele with a difficult economy that we're living through right now.
And while the company says a new look may be coming for its different locations, the items that made their menu a staple of Montreal fast food will remain.
40 years is a lifetime, and the things that have happened in this city in the past 40 years, so much has changed, but not us.
Paula Diane Perez, CBC News, Montreal.
Quebec is gearing up to celebrate an Olympic milestone next month. It will mark 50 years since hosting the 1976 Games. With more on what to expect, here's Jenna Badoso.
50 years ago, Montreal hosted the 1976 Summer Olympic Games. The city and the Canadian Olympic Committee plan to reignite the flame. To celebrate this anniversary, they have a lineup of events planned across the city.
What's even more important, it's not just celebrating the past, but it's celebrating the continuity, having the family, using the facilities. That's the beauty of the 1976 Olympic.
An official celebration song was made by a Montreal artist named Loud. The song is called D'où je viens, which translates to where I come from. It's supposed to highlight diversity in the city. The major festivities in order of the anniversary will take place between July and August. The guest of honor for the celebratory anniversary is Nadia Comaneci. She received a perfect 10 competing in gymnastics at the 76 Olympics. She marked the Olympic Games with her striking performance that earned her the title of the Darling of Montreal.
We realized that in '76, people got crazy with Nadia Comaneci for the achievement that she did, and they started naming their children Nadia. So we realized that there's many Nadia born in '76.
According to the city, the Summer Games inspired a wave of girls being named after the Olympian. There are now more than 1,800 people with the name across Quebec. The Olympic Committee is also putting out a call to all these women named Nadia. They'll be able to join Comaneci on stage at the Olympic Parc Esplanade on August 1st. The rest of the programming includes meet and greets with athletes, outdoor film screenings, free exhibitions, and guided tours into the history of the Games. A closing ceremony will take place on August 1st, just like it did 50 years ago. Jenna Badoso, CBC News, Montreal.
Gilles Villeneuve, the legendary Formula One driver that put this province on the racing map, has officially been named an historical figure of Quebec. With more on what that means and who he was, here's Natalia Weichsel.
Villeneuve joins notables like Maurice Richard and René Lévesque. For Mélanie Villeneuve, the F1 driver's daughter, this distinction is significant.
It's officializing a legend. I think that over the last 40-some years, he's remained very active in the popular mythos, in the memories of the culture.
In 1978, Villeneuve won the very first Canadian Grand Prix held at the Montreal venue. Throughout his career, he racked up 13 podiums and was described as an extremely talented driver. But that legacy came to an abrupt end in 1982. During a qualifying session for the Belgian Grand Prix, his Ferrari touched the wheels of a slower car, resulting in a crash that ultimately took the driver's life. The Montreal circuit on Ile Notre-Dame was named in honor of Villeneuve's legacy following his death.
I think it's awesome to finally see recognition because, again, like for the F1 world, he was one of the first people that put Montreal on the map when it comes to the F1 world.
Seriously, he's such a big historical figure of F1.
Pour la première fois de ma vie, je sais ce que je veux.
Beyond this historical distinction, the driver's memory is also being celebrated in the world of cinema.
On met tout ce qu'on a.
The highly anticipated biopic titled Villeneuve, Rise of a Legend will be released in theaters across Quebec this upcoming fall. Italia, CBC News, Montreal.
Photographer Gabor Szilasi chronicled Quebec for more than half of a century. Whether he was walking the streets of Montreal or touring the rural villages of Quebec, in a career that spanned more than 60 years, he was never without his camera. Now, he died in April at the age of 98. With more on his life and his impact on the province, here's Gloria Enriquez.
Yeah, he always had his Leica camera around his neck, always.
Andrea Szilasi's memories of her father Gabor come into focus when she sorts through his lifetime of photographs.
Yeah, he was always working, but I also felt somehow that he had all his time for me at the same time. I don't really know how he did it.
It's not only her memories, but also the collective memory of Quebec. As an employee of the Office du Film du Québec from 1959 to 1971, Gabor Szilasi toured the province, documenting life in many rural corners. And in Montreal, slices of daily life were recorded through his watchful eye, always in context.
It's a nice proximity. You know, you're close enough to see the human aspect, but far enough to see the business and the architecture.
Szilasi approaches subjects with a special curiosity. An immigrant from Hungary, he came to Quebec in the 1950s, following the Hungarian Revolution. He first fled to Vienna, where his father joined him 10 days later, smuggling his precious photographs. He had carefully hidden the negatives in the diaper of a friend's baby.
Well, it just seems so kind of typical of Gabor, and this kind of inventiveness and kind of mischievousness and simplicity.
His wife of 6 decades, Doreen Lindsay, says Szilasi loved people, and people loved him back.
He was a very good conversationalist, and people liked that, and they would tell him, their life stories. And then he would take their picture.
A large portion of those pictures is now stored at Library and Archives Canada. And one of his favorites, along with a self-portrait, are immortalized near Concordia University, where he taught photography. Szilasi once said, "You have to take photos today, because everything is always changing. Everything happens only once."
That's how he saw the world.
A world with fleeting beauty he and his trusty Leica captured for eternity. Gloria Enriquez, CBC News, Montreal.
For our final story on our special program today, we're going to head out to Montreal's Little Italy neighborhood, where a cafe that has been a cornerstone of part of the culture that has shaped part of Quebec recently celebrated its 70th anniversary. Gloria Enriquez has the story.
Allora, cappuccino cortado, grazie.
Here at Cafe Italia, as soon as you walk through the door, owners say you're family.
Oh, there's a he's family. He used to work here.
The Little Italy shop is celebrating 70 years of serving coffee and memories. It was founded by Laura and Nadia Seri's grandparents, who came from Italy.
My grandparents ran the cafe till my grandfather passed away in 1979. And then my mom, being an only child, took it over, and she ran it like a queen up until COVID.
That's when Sari and her sister took over, handling the place with the same philosophy it always had.
We let everybody in.
Customer Nick Yalanti saw that welcoming spirit firsthand.
And there was a guy sleeping on the pool room table almost every morning. He always went to Blue Bonnets racing. He finished late, he lost all his money, and he slept on the pool room table, and they let him do it. Little anecdotes like that.
Slices of life lived here that, without pictorial evidence like this, might seem a little hard to believe sometimes.
That's a donkey. We had a donkey in the 82. His dad brought a donkey.
Another peculiar guest, Cupid.
My parents met here. See that picture? That's my mom, the lady. And my dad is one of the customers, and he's looking at her and he's saying, she's gonna be mine one day. And after 3 months after this picture, they were married.
At 88 years old, Luciana Sari has taken a step back, but says she's proud of seeing her family take over.
Due cappuccini, thank you so much.
Now with a fourth generation behind the counter.
To keep up what my grandmother's been doing, I think it's gonna be hard to beat. She's a unicorn. There's no one like her.
On the day of its anniversary, the cafe is celebrating the community that built it up when it all started in 1956.
We brought back the prices from 1956.
How are you making any money?
We are not. We are giving back. We are giving. I'm gonna get emotional.
A moment of gratitude for an ever-growing family in their home away from home. Gloria Enriquez, CBC News, Montreal.
Thanks so much for tuning in to our special program honoring our province, and happy Saint-Jean-Baptiste Day.